Wow. Wow, Rick. Just wow. Listen, there's 115 reasons why we shouldn't win there today at Man City. 115 reasons why not. But we'd even get anything out of there. But do you know what, Rick? Over anything else, we've got to 94, 95 minutes, and Ange Postecoglou sends on Jamie Donnelly, sends on a kid in that. He might have had 5 or 6 minutes left. Now, 5 or 6 minutes at this level for a kid of his age is a lifetime, an absolute lifetime. And he sends him on. What a brave manager. He is absolutely brave. Tottenham today. Wow. Wow.
Try and sum up, Rich, if you can, that performance, that effort from the team, where Ange stuck to his principles as he said he would beforehand, didn't wilter. I just sum up for you, Cracks.
Rick, I don't know if he's mad or genius. But they say there is a small line between mad and genius, isn't there? And look, I just keep going back to what we've got to put up with for the last 5 years with Mourinho and Conte, and now all of a sudden along comes Ange Postecoglou, and he's not shifting for no one, is he? He's not shifting for no one.
Crackers, I get what you're saying, but I do think the media persona and his on-pitch attitude and mentality show that he is willing to do that. Because look at half-time today, Brian Gill, an attacking outlet, wasn't good enough, and he took him off and brought on Højbjerg. So he did kind of change his principles to a degree, because Højbjerg is obviously a more defensive-suited, more possession-based, where we're going to be a bit more essentially nullify them and build up. And he did that. And it worked because we got something out of the game. So he does do that. But I know what you mean. Sometimes the media persona is so far up there, he can't come down a bit. So he does need to manage that, because otherwise they're just going to keep gunning for him. And that's what they're doing at the moment. They're just
tripling down, Crackers is tripling down.
So I think he does do that already. He's literally doing that. But I agree. Sometimes he's got to tone it down in his press conferences.
I think Brian Hill, I think he played really well in parts. Like his part for the goal was really good, the turning. But I was frustrated with him against Villa when I watched the game back, because I think he kept going backwards. He'd get himself into a position and then he'd go back. And it's not his fault. He hasn't got the speed to take somebody on as a winger, has he? Do you know what I mean? I actually think he's a technical player, wants to come more inside. And then when you look at the likes of Davis, when Davis picks the ball up in that left centre-back position, he hasn't got the power or the pace or the guile to either hit it first time or go into a bit more of a midfield. See where I'm coming from, lads, viewers and listeners. So we lose that. So we're losing them little nuances. We're losing because Van der Ven does that. Romero does that on the other side. Royale, as Pat, as you picked out earlier, he was like divvying on the ball. And although I think he was better in the second half, to be fair, but they were almost taking too many touches at times, I think, and I've singled out them players because I think it's like a Doggy. I thought he was absolutely excellent again today. I thought he was superb. Destiny. I know he got booked, but I thought he was really good. And actually, when he got booked, people thinking, "Oh, here we go." He was sensational, wasn't he? After he got booked, didn't even know he was on a yellow card. So again, and Porro again. Big shout out to Porro. I thought it was again sensational. Everyone's talking about Doku being brilliant, and he is brilliant. I thought they handled him pretty well, considering. I know he hit the bar in the first half, but that was weird when Davies had to go and cover because Porro had just taken a corner up the other end. So it wasn't against Porro that I don't think Porro struggled. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Højbjerg is one of those players where recently he's taken a lot of stick. Many would say rightly so, but there was way more control I felt when Højbjerg came on. It was almost that double pivot in midfield rather than Basuma on his own, which, let's be honest about it, we maybe should have absolutely started with in hindsight. But again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But Højbjerg was the difference maker. It feels like he won't get the praise he deserves because sometimes it doesn't suit the agenda, but he was really, really important to the way Spurs played in that second half on Lascelles. So I totally agree with what Crack says there. You can see there's a real work rate there to him. And there is this thing that, as Crack says, that City just don't seem to finish or end well when he's got Argentinian Spurs players involved. And the fact, again, is today is that, look, he could have had his head dropped because he gave away the free kick that City scored from. But then apart from that, he was then up for 2 close efforts that, could have entailed hit the back of the net. One of them did, but I think overall, his work rate was the most impressive thing for me. 77 minutes on the pitch. I was actually gutted when he came off, with no disrespect to Oliver Skipp, because I felt we were losing someone there that was a really, really good attacking player that was bringing more to the game as it grew. So I was disappointed to see him come off. I mean, just
to double check, Rick, you were disappointed with him to go a little bit more pragmatic at that point.
You're right. I was disappointed of Ange Postecoglou to go more pragmatic, despite the fact that during the week to Mr. Anthony Costa, I was open-minded to the fact that we could go more pragmatic. But again, that just sums up where things are at. And so much so I think Lee is now frozen on us, and we have his beautiful, elegant face there for everyone to stare at there. Crackers might be going as well. No, he's back. And we've got him. Yeah, we have.
No,
all right.
I'm here. Don't worry about me.
We got Mecca back. We're not going to get this.
Mecca, how can I live in a tiny little island off the coast of northwest Africa and have a constant stream on here, and you live in the metropolis of London and you keep freezing in and out? That's not right.
I'm in the beautiful area of Oxfordshire, but even so, it's still a nightmare. Anyway, I was just about to say to you, just to double check, Nick, what you were saying was you were disappointed when Ange took off an attacking player to put on a more pragmatic, defending-y type player. Was you?
You're right. I mean, with no disrespect, I think also the fact, and I don't mean this in a horrible way about Oliver Skipp. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way.
No,
but
I agree. I do agree.
It's also the drop-off there in the quality as well. And don't get me wrong, Skipp, I must say, Skipp actually played a vital role in Spurs' winner. But overall, again, when you look at the difference of players coming off, I just want to give Lascelles his due, because I think he played ever so well today. And no, mate, continue, right?
100%. Look, jokes aside, I thought he had a good game as well. I think I said in the group, but at half time, I was looking at these players like Basuma and Lascelles. I'm thinking, where are you boys? Do you know what I mean? Even with a bit of Brennan Johnson, I think down the right-hand side, I thought it was his preferred position before he came to the football club, but he was much more effective when he went on the left. And actually only burned, I don't know who it was, is it Guardiola who was playing that side? He only burned him once.
Yeah, Guardiola. Yeah.
But I do think that's because the whole team were playing not the way that Ange wanted them to play in the first half. So I don't want to ever go, look, in the second half, Lascelles, mate, brilliant finish, good play.
Pat, where are we with Basuma? Why do you think we're not seeing those performances that we did see at the start of the season?
You know what? I think with Basuma, he's somebody that needs a run of games. Like, he's someone that almost like he warms up. And once he's had like 2 or 3 games on the spin, you really see him getting his rhythm, getting a feel for the game. And I felt like, obviously, he's had a suspension. He's been in and out. And it's funny because in one of my Spurs group chats, at halftime, a few people were saying that he wasn't good and he hadn't been good enough. But I defended him, saying that the centre-backs aren't good enough to find him the ball. You know, like when you got Romero and Mickey van der Ven, they're good enough to bring the ball up and find him in a decent passing angle so then he can progress the ball forward. Our centre-backs at the moment aren't good enough to do that. So that was one thing. But secondly, he just seemed a bit almost behind the game. And he grew into the game. And you could see, the thing I love about Basuma is that even if he's not playing great, he's still got the confidence to try what he did. But we were living on the edge, and there was a few moments where we almost got caught out. And obviously in that moment, it was such a fine margin, and he got caught slipping. He was surrounded by 3 Man City players. They're one of the best pressing teams in the league. When they find the ball in that area, they're going to punish you 9 times out of 10. Like you said, Rodri got the ball, slipped it into Jack Grealish, and there's no way players of that caliber are missing from there. And it was suicidal because we shot ourselves in the foot. And at that point, I was so annoyed. I was like, you know what? We've worked so hard, and we're going to end up with nothing. But we kept pushing, and that's the sign of a brilliant team, in the sense of we were down and out, but we didn't show that on the pitch. We kept pushing and kept knocking, and obviously we got our just rewards in the end. But going back to Basuma, he does need to wake up now, because there's only so much credit in the bank and grace and a leeway that we can give you. We know how good you are, but you need to start showing it. And you know, you've had this game, shake off the ring rust, shake off the rust, but now it's time to go again, man. West Ham at home on Thursday, and then we've got Newcastle, I believe, on Sunday at home. 2 decent fixtures, you know, where we're going to need to play just probably better than this because we're going to be at home. We need to exert ourselves. And
Yep.
Basuma's one of our ball playing players. If he's not at it, it does affect the team. So he just needs to wake up. Like, whatever's going on, shake yourself out of it and just just get a kick up that backside and get on with it, man, because we need you. We know how good you are, but he was very sloppy today. And against a team like Man City, we almost, he almost cost us the game, literally. Like,
No doubt about it. There's no doubt about
crazy
it.
to say it. Yeah, like, and we try to fine line on here because we have a good chat. We're honest. We don't want to be negative and dig out players, but at the end of the day, we've got to call it how we see it. And today he wasn't good enough, and he did almost cost us the game. That's not being negative, it's just being honest and having an open discussion. So I hope people in the chat can understand that.
The guy that got it is so crucial to me. I think he encapsulates a lot of what an Ange Postecoglou team is about. He fights every ball. He's a willing runner. He's such a willing worker. And I think, again, sometimes you can almost forget just the amount of work he does off the ball. And, again, Pat, he played a quick word over the top to set up Son's early goal. We got an assist there. It was what I would call, Pat, the all-action round performance that you could ask for a player. He couldn't give any more than that, Pat, right, for what he gives to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I love him, man. I love him. There's 4 players, but there's only 3 recent players that I've had printed on the back of my shirts because I don't really print players' names on the back of my shirts, but the guys that I've fallen in love with, and that's Harry Kane, obviously he's gone. Heung-min Son, who we've all, praised him today, and 쿨루셉스키, because I just
who you got in the back there, Pay? Who you got in the back there?
This is Moussa Dembele, I think.
Sanchez.
If I could punch you through the screen, I would right now.
Sorry.
I've got more swag than that. Come on, man.
No, I'm joking, man. Sorry, I interrupted your flow.
Yeah. But no, I think I love him, man. I think he's so talented. Sometimes we moan and grumble. He should pull the trigger a bit more. He's a bit selfless. Sometimes he should shoot. But you saw against Aston Villa, he should have had a goal. He was unlucky, but he's direct. He usually makes the right play. He's always willing to get on the ball. He covers the most ground in the Premier League, which is insane for a winger. He's just the end product is starting to come now as well. The goal and assist today. He's been racking up the goals as well. And I just think he embodies what you would want from an Ange Postecoglou player in 23-24. Him and Son, for me, are literally the epitome of what you would want from your players. They always work hard. They're always willing to track down. They put a shift in defensively. They're always willing to, make the right pass, selfless.